Before Christianity and Islam came to Africa, a lot of African civilization had a lot of women in very important social roles, including it's important for us to incorporate some of these ancient and past cultural reverence for African women into our modern lives today. Women have always played important roles in the defense of Africa, and we need to put them back as equal partners with men to ensure that we have a fighting chance against the neo-colonial and imperial forces from the Arab, Chinese, European, and the American, nations. Here are some of the legendary women warriors in Africa. You can look for more, and you definitely find a lot more if you look. I just picked these 10 that I could easily find. It's easy to find these, so you can also look for them. There are definitely many more, and I haven't arranged these in order of importance. I simply just arrange them according to the history, who came first, at which time, and things like that. So let's take a look at my 10 wonderful black, female warriors in history. First on our list is Amina of Kush. She was a leader of the Kushite armies during the 12th century, and she gave a lot of help to the Romans who were trying to invade Africa on the northern side of the continent. She is very well known because because she played a central role in leading the Kushite armies against the Romans in a war that lasted 5 years from 27 BC to 22 BC. In 24 BC, the Roman prefect of Egypt, Aelius Gallus, left his province on an expedition to Arabia. The Kushites took advantage of his absence to rush forward into Egypt. Amneronas and his son Akinedad took the cities of Cyrene, Philae, and Elephantina. They ended up taking home several Roman statues from the cities. So she is one of the. She was part of the battle. She wasn't just the leader of the Kushites. She was part of the battle. The second woman on my list is DIHYA, or Kahina, and she was a Berber queen, religious and military leader who led indigenous resistance to Arab Islamic expansion in Northwest Africa actually, the region then known as Namibia. She was born in the early 7th century and died around the end of the 7th century in modern-day Algeria. DIHYA succeeded, Caecilius as the war leader of the Berber tribes in the 1680s and opposed the encroaching Arab Islamic armies of the Umayyad, dynasty. In the early 7th century, the Berbers of northwestern Africa were under the control of the Exarchate of Carthage, itself a division of the Byzantine Empire. However, after Egypt fell to Islamic conquest, the Exarchate found itself in direct conflict with the Umayyad general Hassan ibn al-Nu'man, essentially wiping out Byzantine control of the area. However, with their former rulers defeated, DIHYA was able to rally all the Berbers. She mounted a campaign of resistance against the Umayyad invaders, at first using guerrilla warfare, but quickly escalated into outright conflict. Under her instruction, the disorganized Berber forces quickly transitioned into a well-disciplined army. Seeing DIHYA as the most powerful opponent in the region, General Hassan marched south to engage her. Their armies met near Meskiana, where DIHYA's forces defeated Hassan so completely that he fled the area and retreated to Libya for the next few years. During this time, DIHYA came close to establishing a new nation state, setting up new administrative system to support her army. Number 3 on our list is Gudit, or Yodit. Yodit, it means beautiful, in Geese was an Ethiopian queen of the 10th century AD, about 970. Yedid, some called her Judith, is known for her destruction of the Aksumite Empire, bringing to an end the domination for over 700 years by Alexandrian alliance on the affairs of Ethiopians. She's also known with the negative name Gudit, which I said earlier, meaning nothing, having figurative connotation. And since she burned most of the monasteries of the 9 saints that came from Byzantine or Eastern Roman Empire in Ethiopia, she was also attributed Esato meaning fire. In Arabic writing of the time, she was known as Huiya, meaning fire too. Her family originated from the Christianity resisting Nile provinces of Damod. Yodit started Christianity. They wanted to convert her. She said she wasn't going to convert. They cut off her breast, then banished her into that was one of the things that Rome Christian empires did. If you look at the history of Christianity in Israel, in the land of Israel, in the Holy Lands, you know that. So they banished her, and as part of the banishment, they cut off her breast. But she was so fierce and so beautiful that when she went into exile, a general who was also a prince, fell in love with her. Then she brought him back. She came back to Ethiopia with him, and then went ahead and sacked and destroyed all the churches she could find. So this is a woman who, despite all the mutilations that she underwent under foreign religions, she still managed to come back and assert her influence over the Ethiopian land, try to drive away the foreigners and stuff like that. So she's definitely one of my favorites. Next on my list is Yennega, and this one is close to my heart because she's related to me like ethnically. I am Dagomba and she's Mosi, so we're sort of like cousins, sort of. So Yennega was the daughter of Nzinga, an early 12th century king of the Dagomba kingdom in what is now northern Ghana, which is where I come from. That means that she lived over 900 years ago. She was known as a brave warrior and famous for her strong spirit. Today, she's considered to be the mother of the Mosi. We always, joke around with the Mosi all the time, the people of Burkina Faso, and she's become a cultural icon. Yennega's 3 brothers all commanded their own battalions, and as she grew, Yennega also learned the spear and bow. She was a match for any of them in her father's armies, and soon she led her own command. She led her army to success in many battles, especially against the neighboring Malinke people. Across the land, she became known for her skills in battle, becoming tall and slim, and sometimes mistaken for a man when she rode with her battalion in battle clothes. She was so important to her father's battle plans that when she reached the age where most of her friends were getting married, he banned her from doing so. Yennega continued to be obedient to her father, but she was tired of being in battles all the time and wanted to fall in love and marry, like so many of her friends had. No matter how much she asked, her father continued to refuse her this request. One story tells us that Yennega planted some wheat outside of her father's house. When the wheat grew, instead of harvesting it, she let it rot, wither, and die. When her father angrily asked her why she had done this, she told him that he was letting her rot just like the wheat had done. So apparently, he wasn't happy that she had spoken to him so boldly, and some stories say that he imprisoned her. Whether or not she was imprisoned by her father, very soon she escaped and disappeared into the forest, on her stallion, dressed as a man, so she wouldn't be so quickly found. No one knows for sure how long she was there, but some point that she met a well-known elephant hunter called Reale. He soon discovered that she was a woman and a skilled hunter as well. Soon romance blossomed between them, and they had a child. They called the child Ouedraogo, which means male horse or stallion. It's a tribute to the horse which had taken Yennega into the forest where she met Reali. Ouedraogo grew to become an important, leader, and he founded the modern day Mosi Kingdom. Today in Burkina Faso, across the region, you have Yennega statues all over the place. Her legacy remained very intact, and she's one of my favorite people because she's close to my heart. She's close to my ethnic group. So I'm proud to say that we have some female warriors in the ethnic line. The next on our list is Amina of the Zazao, Caliphate, the modern day Zaria. So she was a Muslim, warrior and queen of Zazao, now Zaria, in what is now northwest Nigeria. His One of the earliest mentions of her is from a historian called Muhammad Bello in his history book Ifaq al-Maisur, composed around 1836. He writes that she was the first to establish government among them, and she forced Katsina, Kano, and other regions to pay tribute to her. Known as a great military strategist, the cavalry-trained Queen Amina fought many wars that expanded the southernmost Hausa kingdom. She was also said to have taken a lover from among the conquered people each time after battle, to have killed or castrated him in the morning following their night together. Queen Amina is a legend among the Hausa people for her military exploits. She controlled the trade routes in the region, erecting a network of commerce within the great earthen walls that surrounded Hausa cities within her dominion. According to Kano Chronicle, she conquered as far as Nupe and Kwarafa, ruling for 34 years. The next person on our list is very popular among African Afrocentrists and Afropolitans, so I'm not going to spend that much time on her. The next is Nzinga, Queen Nzinga of Ndongo and Matamba. She was a ruthless and a powerful, leader in the 17th century kingdoms of Ndongo and Matamba, modern day Angola. She was fearless and cleverly fought for the freedom and stature of her kingdoms against the Portuguese who were colonizing the area at the time. She's born as a princess among the Mbuntu or Ambundu group of the Ndongo kingdom in Central West Africa region, now known as Angola. Though she resisted Portuguese colonial occupation of Central West Africa for over a decade, she officially ruled Ndongo from 1624 to 1663. So, a lot of people know a lot about her, so I wouldn't spend much time on it. But she is very, powerful. The popular story about her was when she went to meet the Portuguese, they tried to disrespect her by giving her a mat instead of a stool. She ordered one of her servants to squat, on force so that she could sit. That's the most popular thing. I mean, I guess it's not that if you are among the masses, it might not be that inspiring that she ordered one of her servants to be on all fours, but she is such an interesting figure, in terms of displaying power, and things like that. So she's an interesting figure. Anyways, the next person on our list is a warrior who fought a different kind of war. It's Harriet Tubman. So Harriet Tubman, was American abolitionist, a humanitarian, and an armed scout and spy for the U.S. Army during the American Civil War. She was born into slavery. She escaped and subsequently made 13 missions to rescue approximately 70 enslaved families and friends. The network of anti-slavery activists and safe houses known as the Underground Railroad. She later helped abolitionist John Brown recruitment for his raid on Harper's Ferry, and in the post-war era was an active participant in the struggle for women's suffrage. In honor of her courageous efforts to rescue her family and friends from slavery, abolitionist William Lloyd Garrison named her Moses, alluding to the prophet in the book of Exodus who led the Hebrews to freedom from Egypt. She was such an important figure, and a lot of people didn't know much about her. First of all, there's so much emphasis on men as opposed to women, and what she was doing was also underground. This is from Frederick Douglass. When she asked him for a recommendation, and this is what he wrote: "You ask for what you do not need when you call upon me for a word of commendation. I need such words from you far more than you need them from me, especially where your superior labors and devotion to the cause of the lately enslaved of our land are known as I know them. The difference between us is very marked. Most of most that I have done and suffered in the service of our cause has been in public, and I've received much encouragement at every step of the way. You, on the other hand, have labored in a private way. I've wrought in the day, you in the night. The midnight sky and silent stars have been the witnesses of your devotion to freedom and of your heroism, excepting John Brown of sacred memory. I know of no one who has willingly encountered these perils and hardships to serve our enslaved people than you have." So what Douglas is essentially saying is that Tubman is among the greatest of African, freedom fighters, and Tubman is one of my favorite. They are now trying to put her in the $20 bills, which is very interesting. But like what she did, people were there was certain death. If they catch you, you're dead. She braced this and went back again and again and again and again to rescue enslaved people. Next on our list is Yaa Asantewaa, of course, another one close to my heart because I'm from Ghana, and Yaa Asantewaa is from the present day Ghana, from the Ashanti Kingdom. So she was appointed Queen Mother of Ejisu in the Ashanti Empire, now part of Ghana, by her brother Nana Akwesi Afrani Okwesi, the Ejisihini or ruler of Ejisu. In 1900, she led the Ashanti Rebellion, known as the War of the Golden Stool, also known as the Yaa Asantewaa War against the British colonialism. At her speech by the Royal Council, there was like a hidden meeting. This is what she said: "Now I see that some of you fear to go forward to fight for our king. If it was in the brave days of Osei-Tutu, Okomfo Anokye, and Opoku-Ware, chiefs would not sit down to see their king to be taken away without firing a shot. No European could have dared speak to chiefs of Asante in the way the governor spoke to you this morning. It is true that the bravery of Asante is no more. I cannot believe it. It cannot be. I must say this. If you, the men of Asante, will not go forward, then we will. We, the women, will. I shall call upon my fellow women. We will fight. We will fight till the last of us fall in the battlefields." So what she was responding to was that because the governor had captured and exiled the Ashantihini to Seychelles Island, he was demanding that they give the golden stool in exchange. And so he was basically treating the Ashanti like nothing. And that's why Yaa Asantewaa was very angry with that type of the way he spoke to them, without deference, and the way the chiefs were contemplating accepting his offer and basically surrendering. So you can see that Asantewaa was a clear-headed strong African woman who stepped up to defend her people against foreign invaders. What do you think about Black Lives Matter today, being led by strong strong black women? Today, Yaa Asantewaa remains a great source of inspiration and pride for young African and Ghanaian women and men, including me, myself. Even though the British historians tried to call the war of the golden stool, we in Ghana rightly call it the Yaa Asantewaa War, to give reverence to the brave woman who initiated the war. Without her, there would have been no war. So forget about all these funny things about gold. The golden stool was not the biggest deal in the war. It was Yaa Asantewaa. So it's a Yaa Asantewaa War. It's not the war of the golden stool. Next on our list is Taytu Betul. She is one of my favorite, actually. If not my favorite, you would understand why. She was born in 1851. She was the Empress Consort of the Ethiopian Empire and the third wife of Emperor Menelik II of Ethiopia. She founded Addis Ababa, Ethiopia's capital city, now the headquarters of the African Union. If you know anything about African interactions with European in the 80s, in the 1800s, you know that things did not go well for most Africans. Time and time again, a European so-called ally nation would just happen to witness some malady before one of their new African buddies. And as a good neighbor, the Europeans would then prescribe their traditional folk remedy, military invasion. And so, time and time again, African armies would go up against European ones and lose, but not in Ethiopia. When its ally, Italy, began invading, Ethiopia defeated them in battle, and in so doing, made Italy collectively lose its mind. And this crushing victory, in large part to the foresight, skepticism, and the insight of Taytu Betul. She's the reason why Ethiopia is the only country on the African continent which didn't suffer foreign rule during the recent European division of Africa. She is the reason why Ethiopia. We have so much pride in Ethiopia. She is. So we all need to, make sure that we respect our women, and they need to know that they are not meek and weak people. They are strong. They are from strong, roots, and they can defend the continent along with all of us. The last on our list is Ida B. Wells, and I specifically picked Ida B. Wells because of the current issue that is going on with Black Lives Matter. A lot of people know about Wells, but I included her in this thing, for that particular reason. She was born in 1862. She was an African-American photojournalist, newspaper editor, suffragist, sociologist, and an early leader in the civil rights movement. She was one of the founders of the NAACP, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, in 1909. Ida was tough, she was tough from the get-go. When at age 16, her parents died from a yellow fever epidemic. She rolled up her sleeves, got a job, and worked to keep her siblings out of foster care. Foster care is terrible. Nobody should ever allow their children. And this warrior, black woman, fought to keep her siblings out. At age 21, the conductor of a train on which she was a passenger ordered her to vacate her seat so that a white woman could use it. Ida refused. When the conductor tried forcibly removing her, she hooked her feet into the chair and refused to budge. When he tore her sleeve in the attempt, she scratched at him and bit him. When a gang of men finally removed her from the car, she sued the entire train company and won. Though, so she was fine. There were illegal shenanigans which led her to losing the case. But Ida won, and it was part of these reasons why the Jim Crow laws were legalized and instituted in the South, so that black people would legally be able to be removed from cars and things like that. And she was a journalist. She was one of the people who recorded lynchings. Like, she wrote about it. Just like right now, the mainstream media don't want to talk about black issues, or things like that. She made sure that all the lynching stories, she wrote about them. So she is an inspiration to a lot of young black women and men today. you know. And as we can see, the Black Lives Matter is mainly led by women. The killing is mainly black men, though some black women have been killed, but our women are standing up defending us. So we need to give them credence and look to history to see that it's not just, you know, we need to support the Black Lives Matter movement. You know, there need to be some more formalizing of the movement, but like there are people like, you know, Ida B. Wells who serve as inspiration to today's young women in our society. So that's my list of 10, you know, African, you know, warrior princesses, who serve as inspiration to me and to other, you know, young black people all over the world. Let me know who you think should be, you know, could be on maybe a second list that I can bring together. Or, you know, you can also upload something like that and share with me. It's good to know all the things that we can, you know, about our history. Thank you. Bye bye. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. Bye bye.